Let's go! Shit.
Bada bing, bada boom, boom, boom. What's the elephant in the room? So, before we start on the highlight for today's podcast, I would like to catch up with you guys. So, how have you all been? Any new hobbies?
For me, I am alright. Life's been good. Life's been somewhat okay lately. As a matter of fact, for my hobby, I have currently taken up a game called an FPS game called CS:GO.
Oh, is it the computer version or the mobile version?
I don't think there's a mobile version for CS:GO,
Yeah.
miss.
Oh,
There's
there
only a
isn't. What
PC
about
version. No, what?
I thought there was a mobile version.
No, 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 no.
You know,
There's no such thing.
Heroes,
No, no, no.
COD.
That was
Oh,
COD,
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Oh, so
CS:GO is
they're
another
different. They're
game.
two different
Yes,
games.
yes.
Oh, okay,
They're two
okay. So,
different
what about
brands.
you, Kyla Masong Song? Any new hobbies?
Well, I've been watching Umpaville recently, and I have a love and hate relationship, but don't ask why.
Okay, I will not ask why. So I heard, Arman, that you have a history of being quite a resource finder. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
So for all of you here who are unaware, whenever there is a class reporting or if it involves some sort of individual assessment live on Synchronous, the number of students attending the Synchronous class keeps declining. Why do you
Mm,
think so?
because they are just lazy, I guess. They have
Hmm.
no
No, I
motivation to
passed
study.
out.
So what
I
do you
don't want to report.
What about me who passed out because of the vaccine?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, that
I
is
guess
a
that would
valid that is
Who
a
are
valid
you?
valid
excuse.
excuse.
However, there are certain individuals who make up lies just to find ways to not attend our classes or be excused in our classes. I hate those kinds of individuals.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
And
that is
yes,
why you,
I tend
Arman,
to
is known.
I tend to somewhat uh take a glimpse into their social media accounts to see if they are truly I know if their excuses are truly valid. Uh,
Like literally last week, one of our classmates had to do almost everything by herself. And hoping to lighten the weight on her shoulders, she probably hoped that at the very least her group mates would be on the sync class. You know?
yes.
Can I name her? You can just censor
No,
it,
no.
Mr. Editor.
No, no, no. Let's not name her.
So
Let's not name her.
yeah, so you weren't able to attend Eliza, right? Because of your internet, and Kim, you were passed out because of the vaccine. So basically,
yeah.
after we discussed the whole morning, we were tasked to make a PowerPoint presentation by group on a select topic. Then by afternoon, the teacher would pick one of the members of the group to be the one to report it. So, going back to the point, our poor classmate expected that at the very least her group mates would attend, you know? So, she probably did most of the research, the PowerPoint making, and she expected that they would attend. Especially this one group mate, because he was very reliable. And his name was.
Reliable
Hmm,
my ass.
you can censor the name, but it turns out he had an excuse. It's a blackout, right, Arman?
Yes. A
There was a
blackout.
blackout. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
And you caught him in the act, just scrolling through Facebook, right?
Yes,
And even
he
online on
shared a
Discord.
meme. Yes. And I was
Mm.
part of his Discord server and he was actually in a voice channel. In a voice channel.
Well,
Yeah, during synchronous class. Can you imagine that?
Hmm.
mm,
Mm. So for those of you who are unaware, you can use data on Facebook, right? So it's actually like
Yes.
mm.
even if there is a blackout, you can still use Facebook. But on Discord, you definitely need Wi-Fi
You
for that.
definitely need broadband internet in order for it to be able to run. That is why he was a liar. His excuse was not valid.
I mean, if he had data, then he could join the call.
Yes, I messaged him that he could actually join our meeting, but he said his data was really slow. And
Mm.
Oh,
but
He
when
so
I
was
saw
able
him,
to.
yes, but when I saw him join a Discord voice channel, you need a lot. You need a fast internet. You need fast internet to join Discord voice channel, and that's where I became what do you call it? Uh, Suspecting him of lying. I suspected him of lying. Thus, I concluded that his excuse was not valid, and thus put him on absent. Moving on.
So our podcast today is about, drum roll please, cyber stalking. Action Armor is a very tame example of cyber stalking. According to Google, cyber stalking is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, group, or organization. It may include false accusations, defamation, slander, and libel, monitoring, identity theft, threats, vandalisms, solicitation for sex, doxing, or blackmail. Do you think all cyber stalkers are bad individuals? What can you do about it? Like, how could you prevent it? And when it does happen to you, do you have any similar experience being a cyber stalker and a victim of a cyber crime?
Okay. Personally, no. For this is for the question that says, do you think all cyberstalkers are bad individuals? Okay. Personally, no. You can't make a hasty generalization that all individuals who conduct this act are scumbags, as there are times where a young, not media literate, and oblivious individual has good intentions towards someone but does not know how to properly express these intentions online. Thus, they turn to cyberstalking as they think they are conducting acts of passion. The thing is, you cannot immediately base a person's character just because of one act. We are humans after all, making mistakes is part of our lives. Moreover, like the example you said back then where I had to stalk a certain someone's accounts to see whether or not his or her excuses were valid, these acts were a lesser evil that are somewhat justified as its goal is to maintain integrity and honesty.
How about you, Kate? Do you think that all cyber stalkers are bad individuals?
for me personally, I think good and evil, good and bad is just a concept, so I don't really think any of it. But I do have an experience being a victim, not being a cyber stalker. When I was 10 years old or even younger, there would be pedophiles messaging me, sending me pictures of their jalapenos. It was very unappealing sight to
Damn.
see. They would also ask me sexual questions and ask me to do stuff like rubbing my thighs. I didn't know what thighs were back then, so I just rubbed my knees. Now, now that I'm
Really?
older,
Did you really
what?
experience all that? Really?
Damn, that's crazy.
You were young? And you're still young now. So you were younger when you experienced that. Those. That must have been very terrifying. Or were you like not really scared
Were you
because
traumatized?
you were very naive at that time?
Now that I'm older, it's just like, oh, so that's what it meant. It's really disgusting. Children easily fall victim to these because they don't know much. They don't understand what's happening and how cruel the world can be. They can't immediately assess situations that they're in, especially if they have no prior knowledge of it or whatsoever. And also, I have another experience. I know, so crazy. What is my life like? So a lady complimented me online saying, "Oh, you're so pretty, your pictures, wow." And I was so flattered. Like, "Oh my god, a woman complimenting me." And then she dropped the bombshell. She asked me if she could use my pictures. And I was like, "What? What are you gonna do with pictures?" And so I blocked her because I don't want any scandal involving me. And that's
Yeah,
all.
That
I
was a good
see.
call, bro. Good call.
I see. Uh, as for me, uh, regarding to the question, if I experience or have I conducted cyber stalking, I think you already know that I have conducted it. So, so there was a point in time where I was considered to be a cyber stalker. It was at that point in my life, whereas I was down bad. I was young, careless, inconsiderate, and not media literate. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes.
Mm.
If you're comfortable sharing.
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine with sharing. So, when I was probably 13, 14 years old, I had this crush on my classmate. It was more of an obsession, really. The thing is, she was mesmerizing. She was awesome. She was awesome. She was
Mm.
perfect in my eyes. Now, back then, I had little to no knowledge about other social media platforms other than Facebook and Messenger. These were the platforms that I used to conversate or talk with her. Once I got the word from my friends that there were actually social media platforms other than Messenger and Facebook, I immediately got to work and created accounts on these platforms. To be specific, I created a Twitter and Instagram account. And what was my goal in creating these accounts? Yes, to somewhat stalk
Okay.
and see the life of my also beloved crush. I asked my peers as to what her usernames in these platforms were and eventually got them all. Once I got them, I followed all of her social media accounts with the idea that I could know how, and what she was doing. Weird, right? Weird.
Very,
So
bro. Very.
Very,
Very.
We're
very.
very lucky that you were a
Yes.
very small kid at that time, bro.
Yes.
you
Being
need to
now,
stop. You stop, right?
no, let me continue. Being the inconsiderate and not media literate dirtbag I was back then. In Facebook, I saved all of her profile pictures, even when she was a kid, as I thought would
Hmm.
be cute. Not only that, but in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I also liked her every post, every tweet, every
Mm.
share, basically everything. This had gone on for months on end. I thought what I was doing was cool, cute, and romantic. But one day, when I saw no, when I watched a documentary about what child predators on the internet do, I realized what I was doing could be considered acts of cyber stalking, acts made by child predators, and that by doing these acts, the people that by doing but and that the people that you conduct these acts on actually feel unsafe and would ultimately make you an internet criminal. So I stopped and realized how wrong I was. The good thing is, my crush is drastically more mature and understanding than me and shrugged it off, luckily. I really felt bad for myself and her as I did not know that my actions did not reflect what my intentions were. But luckily, nowadays, with the help of the education provided by my school, the internet, my friends, and my family about media and its uses, I am now somewhat more of a responsible and decent internet citizen. Although there are times where I trash talk when I play video games. And that is my story. We all make mistakes, and by making these mistakes, we learn what actions are considered wrong and right, which in turn helps us apply what is right and avoid what is wrong in our daily lives, ultimately making us better individuals.
Mm.
That is my
Wow,
Thank you,
story.
I
thank
But
you everyone for sharing your experience. So, what can you do about cyber stalking? Like, how could you prevent it?
as for me, what you can do when you are cyberstalked is somewhat simple, and that is to immediately block the person or account that is stalking you. As for the prevention, to be completely honest with you, preventing cyber stalkers is an arduous and close to impossible task, as it needs cooperation from the internet and basically every internet user. The internet is a vast and universal train containing almost all of the world's information. The vast majority of us humans have access to this information. Thus, to avoid cyberstalking, one must keep somewhat of a low profile. We must make their accounts private and be only disclosed to the few individuals who he or she considers to be close and trusted friends. And lastly, one must refrain from putting sensitive or too personal information on the web.
Ako
I,
na? So,
can I have a little oh, have it ever stopped you, Orman? If ever your crush had blocked you at that time, would you have stopped? Or like you could easily create a new account, right?
Yes, but she will continue to keep on blocking that account. It's an annoying task to do when you are a victim of cyber stalking. But for me, it is one of the simple ways to do so. Other you can also what do you call it? You can also file a case towards that person, which would in turn ruin that person's reputation and ultimately make that person.
But
um,
you were a kid back
what
then, so
Yes.
it's quite uncalled for if you have to file a lawsuit. But oh well.
I
What about
mean,
you? What
if
are
you
your
file a suit, they're not gonna take it seriously because they haven't harmed the victim yet. That's how the police are.
Hmm.
Yes, that's the problem
Oh,
with the Philippines. However, it also played my benefit as I was not charged with a crime.
so, actually, here today on the Actual Info podcast, we have an anonymous entry who was willing to share her experience also with cyber stalking. So, before we move on to the anonymous entry, let's have a quick break and we'll be back right after a few minutes.
Are you tired of itchy and frizzy hair? Use Head and Shoulders, designed for itchy and frizzy hair caused by dandruff, dryness, and bacteria. It kills 99.9% of germs and removes 99.9% of dandruff. It straightens, smoothens, and cleans the scalp. Why settle for less when you can settle for the best? Head and Shoulders.
Now we're back. Nika, could you please read the entry?
Oh, sure. Is it hypocritical of me to claim that I'm a victim of a situation that I deliberately put myself into? I'm a 17-year-old female turning 18 in a couple of months, and I used to live a double life. The first one being just normal, plain, and no drama, while the other one is what I hide from everyone because I post risque pictures using a fake account. So before anyone judges me, I don't partake in any sexual acts via call or message. And yes, I do take precautions. I make sure to not put my name or my nickname for everyone to see, and I also hide my face. accessories, and any objects that may lead to a connection of the real me. Everything seemed fine until I met someone that would forever haunt me. There were two men whom I liked talking with that showed interest in me, one being 5 years older than me, let's call him Jake, and the other one being 2 months older, let's call him Zach. Of course, I can't choose them both. That would be selfish of me, and so I asked them what their intentions were and what they could offer me. Ooh.
Ooh.
I wow.
Wow.
I really liked Jake, but I'm a minor and he's practically an adult. I didn't want him to. Oh, yeah. 5 years older, so it's like
Plus
22 years
you're
old.
still a minor. You were still a minor.
Yeah. I didn't
Technically,
want
it's
him to get
pedophilia.
into any type of trouble. Yeah, yeah, correct.
Technically.
Being a minor with an adult just seemed iffy to me, which is why I turned him down and leaned more onto Zach. Jake then told me that the age that he told me was only a lie, and he was actually 19. Wow.
Ooh.
He said that it was more of a test to see whether someone will stay with him despite the age difference. Huh.
Sketchy,
Hmm.
sketchy.
Quite a kind of like a reverse test.
I don't think
I
that
don't know why. Yeah,
sus sus
you know.
sus. It's
Yeah,
sus.
red
Sus.
flags.
Red flags all
Yeah.
over the place.
I don't know why, but that type of mindset and the fact that he thinks it's okay for a 17-year-old to be in a possibly romantic relationship with someone who is apparently 5 years older baffles me and gave me red flags. So I guess it's not only us. I know it was more of a test, but still, it just seemed iffy. Though I didn't think much of it because he said we could still be friends, in which I actually believed. That's why I gave him my Facebook account because he asked for it. And I thought he wanted us to be mutuals, but he never gave me his account. It was naive and foolish of me, truly. Hmm.
Hmm.
Jake then started to give me the cold shoulders, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I had Zach. That day after, though, Jake messaged me. You really love posting naughty pics, huh? Hmm. In which I
Hmm.
told him that I liked the attention. Although that wasn't really the case, I was just too lazy to explain why. He then asked me on what he needed to do for me to stop posting those types of pictures. I was offended. What makes him think that he can change me? Also, why does it matter? He's conservative, I know, but I'm not. It just ticks me off when others can so called play the hero and save someone like me who is a damsel in distress. I know what I'm doing, I know the risks, and I'm not in need of any saving. He also confessed that he got jealous of Zach and asked me if I didn't notice it. I mean, who on earth would have expected him to like me that fast? He was only Mm. He has only known me for a day and a half, and that's when I started ignoring him. So many red flags. Then a stranger messaged me, asking if I were blank. He knows my name, my full name. And because I was panicking, I told him, no, I'm Stella. I'm not that person. Who is that person? But he was persistent. He kept asking me whether I was really not that person. I was stressed. How on earth did he knew my name? Am I getting in trouble? And how many people know me? I had no choice. If I was getting in trouble, I need as much information as I can get, which is why I admitted that I was that person. I asked him the questions that have been weighing down on me, but he said that he will only tell me if I'd agree to be in a call with him. It was suspicious, so I kept ignoring his request and just asked him questions, but unfortunately, he was very persistent. And so I agreed to be in a call with him. He said that there was a group chat on Telegram that was talking about me and that he had found out my real name there. How did they know my real name? We will never know. We ended the call immediately after he decided to give me a piece of advice to stop posting risque pictures. I was in so much panic and stress, I couldn't lean to any of my friends with this type of problem because, in the first place, it's also my fault on why I'm in this situation. It's much harder when you only have yourself to blame. But I had a suspicion. What if all that was a hoax for me to stop doing what I actually do? What if he was actually Jake and that this was one of his schemes to stop me from posting risque pictures? Sure, he was conservative, but he admitted before that he liked those pictures and that he wished he was the only one who could see it. Is this some sort of Yandere X reader? Hopefully it isn't. But I still can't erase the possibility that there is a group chat and that they're talking about me, my real identity. Is it hypocritical of me to claim that I'm a victim of a situation that I deliberately put myself into? So that's the end of the anonymous entry.
Damn,
Damn.
women really are the vast majority of the victims of cyber stalking really are women, huh?
Hmm. So
What can you say? Can you say?
so I'm sorry. Ano ko? Karon lang ako nakabasa. Wow. Wow. Mm.
So
Wow.
crazy.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Oh.
Damn.
So wow.
I am in
Based
awe.
on I am in my
It's very
wow.
scary.
It was very detailed as well. So I really imagined it in my head what was actually really happening and how she put the pieces together. Personally, why did you shouldn't give your Facebook account to
Never. It is
Stranger.
unknown to
yeah
a stranger.
yeah you shouldn't give your Facebook account to strangers.
As I said
Also
before.
that also oh yeah go on.
Go. No, no, no. It's all right.
Uh,
I was referring to something that I said back
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Mm.
It was to not give sensitive or too personal information to strangers online. That was
I
what I
really
was referring
really
to.
applaud her bravery
Yes, bro.
for thinking that if she had told them, yeah, that's me, she could magically solve the case. But you shouldn't say that it's actually you know?
Never. Never.
You should, unless like there is a police involved, then and they say that you should do that, then do that. But I applaud your bravery, but I don't think it was the right call to say that it was you. But hmm, anyways, based on our conversations today, what is your final take on cyber stalking?
For me, the bottom line is cyber stalking is evil. It is something that should always be discouraged in our society. Howbeit, let us be let us bear in mind that cyberstalking also has its uses when it is aiming to maintain certain morals such as integrity and honesty. It is a lesser evil where we can turn to. Moreover, we must also be compassionate towards certain young and not media literate individuals as they are victims of lack of education and experience. Nonetheless, cyberstalking is a distasteful and bad act one must always refrain from doing.
Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your opinions on cyber stalking, Arman and Kim. Have a great and blessed day.
Thank you as well. Thank you for having us. Have a good day. God bless and enjoy your lives. Bye bye.
Bye bye.